So here's a fun game I like to play. It's whenever, and I do it to myself. So like I'm a participant too.
Yeah.
But what happens is I push start really fast before you have a chance to really groom yourself. And that's what I like to call YouTube roulette. Am I ready?
Go.
You don't know. We have a chance to do it live and in person. So welcome everybody to the Medicare Cafe. We today are on the pre-chat. We log on just a few minutes early. If you're watching the recorded version of this and you don't like to see the chaos that's about to ensue, just go ahead and push that forward about 2 minutes. Because today we're doing an AMA, aka Ask Me Anything.
AMA, aka.
AMA,
like
Ask Me Anything, aka an AMA. So anyways, first of all, if you don't know who we are, first of all, how's that rock you've been living under? My name's Olivia Richardson.
I'm Clayton Clemens.
We are with Senior Marketing Specialist, Medicare Cafe, and we're really excited today to talk about the last 2 weeks of AEP. So today we're doing an AMA because it's kind of, I'm hearing agents in a lot of different stages right now. Some of them are like, okay, I just finished my PDP run-throughs. Now I'm going to start actually selling Medicare Advantage and working with new clients with 2 weeks left. I'm talking to people that are like, I haven't seen a client in 2 weeks. I've been done. I need to ramp up my marketing. What does that look like? I'm seeing some agents that are like, hey, wait a minute. I should certify. So we're seeing quite literally all different stages. So that's what we wanted to do today was like, hey, let's open up the floodgates to like, you have questions. Yo, I'll solve them. Check out the hook while my DJ revolve it. Medicare, baby. So anyways.
Just every once in a while, I'm just going to bail on you. It's like, nope, too far.
Honestly, if it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
So welcome. Just so you kind of know, like, what gives us the authority to talk about this stuff. First of all, we have lots of audacity. That's the first part.
Step one, tons of audacity.
Thank you. See, Brian gets it. Number 2, my title at Senior Marketing Specialist, Vice President of Corporate Alliances, and Clayton is our Agent Resource Specialist and has been working on that team and he quite literally is the front lines for our agents and gets to hear all these questions and gets to do all the actual work and finding the answers.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah, no, it's a time of year where it's just flooding of random questions of all different aspects.
Felt like I was a lot closer. I felt like I looked very large.
Well, we look... Okay, no, we don't. Never mind.
What are you going to say?
We look like the same height.
We are the same height.
Yeah.
Because your hair. I'm actually taller. It's just because your hair's so tall.
You do have tall hair. Your hair is big.
Calling my hair fat?
No, my hair.
Okay. Anyways, that's all the time we use it in free chat.
Good.
So today again is an AMA and is an Ask Us Anything. So how do you play along? I'd love to tell you. See this number down here? That is our text line. If you
always do it wrong. Let's put it this way.
You're a bit of an idiot.
Yeah.
This is our text line. So again, if you do have any questions, feel free. That is my number. Even if you're watching the recorded version of this, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Even if you're watching the recorded version of this, that is my line. Brian just texted me something. And so go ahead, you can text that to me at any time, or of course you can put it in the question box, aka the message, the live chat on the YouTube page if you're watching the live version as well. So so feel free to interact because if you don't interact, then we have no questions, and it's quite literally just us doing like a song and dance. And Clayton's a terrible singer.
Oh,
great mustache, terrible artist.
That's just not true at all.
Why do you want to hurt me?
I'm the songbird of our generation, but okay.
Okay. So ask us anything. Can be about what we had for breakfast. Can be about what's going on in this AEP. Can be about what's going on in the future. Would love to tell you. One of the first questions we have here is actually something what I'm actually addressing, or I'm not addressing, you're addressing in a webinar that we're hosting tomorrow, 5 things to do to ramp up your AEP towards the end of it. But one of the questions here we have is, I'm seeing a lot of my applications pending due to CMS. What's going on and how can I help?
So my first answer is always just CMS is slow.
Girl, tell me.
Every year, is it beginning of November, they do their little shutdown thing for 2 weeks because, of course, that's a great time to do it.
What else do they have going on, right?
Nothing going on. Don't do it in September. That'd be silly.
That'd be dumb.
But CMS shuts down for a couple weeks to work on their systems, does CMS things. I'm assuming. But they will have a lot of pending applications during that time and the weeks after, which is our busiest time. So it does cause a little bit of panic of like, what do I do? Should I try to get them on something else? You know, what's going on?
It's just that messaging that you're used to seeing throughout the year when you turn an application. If it's pending, it's usually because you're missing information, signatures, or supporting documents. When it comes to CMS pending, you feel really out of control because you've done everything correctly. The carrier submitted it. It's completely out of anybody's hands. You just have to wait for CMS to run its course. Not only are they super inundated with apps, but then they took a 2-week hiatus. Unfortunately, when it comes to that, if you're looking through your portals, number one, check your applications. If you're not, no information is not good information. You really need to be checking out those apps. Yeah. If it says pending for CMS approval, that's normal. CMS is very behind right now. Nothing you need to do but keep an eye on it to make sure that CMS doesn't decline it for one reason or another.
Those ones, whenever I'm doing app checks for agents, I usually will wait about a week. I'll give it like the 5 business days and then try again. Because there isn't anything we can do, it's literally just waiting. So instead of spending all your time checking apps, check it once, put that on the list of ones I need to check for CMS approval. Because the other ones, you actually have action to do if it's pending for something. So go do those. Yeah, those are more important.
Absolutely. Another question that we got, the scope of appointment rules. I know they change at the end of election, but what does that look like with AEP? Ooh. So reminder, the scope of appointment, we all know the 48-hour rules when it comes to the scope of appointment, that you have to have that scope of appointment signed by the consumer 48 hours in advance. We also know that there are some exceptions to the scope of appointment 48-hour rules. Not to the fact of having a scope appointment, always need that, but that 48-hour cool down period. One of those exceptions are you are the last 4 days of an election period. So the last 4 days, so I guess starting December 4th, because you have the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Starting December 4th, if you're using AEP as your election period, you no longer have to wait the 48 hours. You can just go ahead and sign the scope of appointment prior to you discussing benefits and move on with the appointment. Yep. So that's how that works. Just keep in mind that people get confused. It's not the last 4 days of the month. It's the last 4 days of that election period. So if you have somebody who's turning 65 in December, it doesn't mean the last 4 days of December. It would be the last 4 days of December, January, February. The last 4 days of March is when that period is waived. But starting December 4th, you can waive the 48 hours if it is for a scope of appointment.
Yeah, no, that's exactly like all that there is to that one. Just get it done those last 4 days of the election period. That's the key takeaway. 4 days, election period.
Love this question. You're actually talking to our ancillary product guru over here. Terry, good morning, Terry. Terry says, he also said good morning. How about that? Good morning. He says, you mentioned Manhattan Life as best for multiple people for dental. How good are they when it comes to vision? Or do you combine VSP with it? Hearing what carriers? Thank you. So talking about our dental vision hearing, Manhattan Life changed their name to Century United Life.
Other way around.
So It is Manhattan Life again. See, I'm just going to shut up. This is your time to shine, my friend.
I got this. So Manhattan is what I would recommend 9 times out of 10 if you're looking at dental vision and hearing.
Near.
I like it.
Thank you. I'm just
wasn't ready for it.
I'm ready.
So the only reason that any of these other carriers are in the ballgame is because if you're focused on dental purely being one of the highlighted benefits.
Near.
So if you're looking you want to be able to use dental, vision, or hearing, Manhattan's one that doesn't allow or doesn't have any caps on their benefits. So you say you have a $3,000 benefit, you can use that purely for dental, for vision, for hearing, however you want. There's no maximums on those. It's just you have this benefit amount.
Near.
Where most I gotta be better with my pacing on that.
That was good. No, you're doing fine. This is on me.
So other carriers, you'll typically see around $500 be the cap on their vision or their hearing. So there's not as much robust coverage in those two. So that's where you really need to look at a Manhattan because they have way more flexibility. Now, having an extra vision plan, if you do have, like Emeritus has one, a standalone vision plan could make sense with one of these other carriers, but you got to remember the carriers aren't going to allow you to double dip on that payment. So you can't say, okay, well, I want to use $1,000 I have left on my Manhattan, but then I'm going to go use my Emeritus for my vision and have them pay the rest of the $500. They won't double bill that way. So having two doesn't typically work out.
Okay.
Having two for like let's say a Medicare Advantage plan and like a standalone dental plan like this could work. Just remember, it's not going to be billed to both. You got to kind of pick which one you're going with.
That makes sense. Manhattan Life's network. I know that they're more. I mean, they do have a network.
Mm-hmm.
But tell us a little. Like, that's kind of like the number one feedback we get when it comes to like these providers is network tends to be an issue.
Yeah. Well, Manhattan's more indemnity style. They'll let you go wherever you'd like to go, so they don't have a true network that way.
Okay.
Because you'll go there and you file the paperwork and get reimbursed. They do have the Carrington network. You'll see like Aetna and a few other carriers use that Carrington network. It's pretty large. That one will get you more discounts whenever you're going to file for a claim through that provider. And typically, if they're in the network, the office might help you submit that claim. Well, otherwise, it's on yourself. It's not super difficult, to be honest, but it is something that kind of scares people away from, well, I don't want to file these claims. I don't know what to do with this.
Near.
That was good.
Great answer.
The other part would be a few different they have another network they just added recently, and I cannot remember the name of it because I've been Carrington in my head. That's all that they ever had. But they do have another additional network now. Don't do it. Pineapples.
Pineapples?
Yeah, pineapples.
Pineapples.
Look at the light and say pineapple.
The light helps you sneeze.
Are you sneezing right now?
Well, touche. P asked a question, and he says, "Can you confirm what disclaimer I need to put on my email?" Why was that funny, Clayton?
I was laughing at Brian.
Can you confirm what disclaimer I need to put on my email?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, when it comes to your email disclaimer, the biggest thing that you need to put on there, number one, you need to say that like you are not affiliated with the government agency of Medicare. That's going to be one of the biggest things you need to put on there. You also need to have your title that you are a licensed insurance agent. Something. We have a group of about 6 titles that you can have, but you need to make sure you have a title included on there. Licensed insurance agent's probably the one that I would go with. And then, and honestly, when it comes to the email, you need to make sure that you put on there, this goes with your website as well, how many plans that you represent. So it can be like for the entire state. You don't have to change that per recipient. You can say in the state of Missouri, I represent X amount of plans based out of X amount of plans. But just letting you know, that would be the disclaimer that you want to make sure that you have, because it can be considered marketing whenever you're communications. You just want to clear your bases. The
statewide part is what you want to focus on there, because I've had that question of like, well, how do I know who I'm emailing? Can I build like a cheat sheet? You could. It's just not necessary.
No, just do it for the state.
What we've been kind of told is, in compliance, it's all a good faith effort. And if you're putting that effort forward of saying like, hey, in the state, Pete, I know you're in Florida. So, like, if in the state of Florida, I offer 9 carriers that offer 230 plans.
Yeah.
Why did I
think Pete was in Tennessee? I always do that. I've talked to him about this every single time. He's like, girl, I don't live there.
Yeah, it's wild.
Brian says, don't let her distract you. She gets bored when she's not talking. And Brian, I've never felt more seen in my life. Thank you. That is 100% the facts. Carissa said... See how satisfying that is?
It is. It's really good.
Carissa says, good morning, Carissa. She says, I got a lot of referrals, but when I tell the referrer to tell him the referral to call me, I never get the call. How can I increase that urgency? A tale as old as time.
So this is your ball game.
Yeah. So this is what, the problem whenever it comes to the Medicare Advantage season. If somebody says, oh my gosh, my sister's neighbor's dog walker's cousin was just saying they needed help on this, can you reach out to them? You can't do that. When it comes specifically to Medicare Advantage, you cannot call somebody. They have to contact you. So one of the things that I like to do as far as how do you create urgency with that is a lot of times I could say hey, why don't you send them a text right now? I'm talking to you, you're in my office. Why don't you let's you and I take a selfie together and we can send them that picture depending on the relationship you have with that client. If you're not a selfie person, that's not going to make sense. But if you have that relationship with your client, say let's do this together, or hey, take a picture of my business card, text it to them right now. You can do things like that, or hey, to create the urgency. Something that we have pretty unique to our industry is that a lot of the urgency doesn't have to come from us. We have 10 days.
Yeah.
We have 10 days of AEP left. So we don't really have to create that urgency. The urgency is going to come organically. So just reminding them like, hey, we're running out of time. Another thing that we like to do, there's a careful balance between, it gets a little more intense towards the end of the year, but there's a supply and demand thing. So being like, I have a few appointment spots left. Not saying like I don't have time, because then you're never going to get a referral, because they're going to be like,
She's too busy.
She's too busy. They don't want to mess with this person. They don't want to mess with Gertrude. She's too busy. But being like, hey, for AEP, I have a few appointments left. So she can call me today. That would be awesome, because I want to make sure like your friends are my friends. I'm going to do what's right by them. I'm running out of space though. And we're coming to a head on that. So creating some urgency with the, what am I trying to say? I got distracted. Creating some urgency with the time frame, but also the supply and demand. If you take away that supply, then the demand will follow.
I'll say the biggest one that I hear a lot is that just setting them up with the time frames of what's legitimately available.
Yeah.
Of like, we've got a few days left of this, so if she wants to get that taken care of, please have her call me. Mm-hmm. Just remind her that way. Also, another thing I see is people putting general referral, like social media post out there, and sometimes that can trigger them to remind other people. Mm-hmm. My buddy does PNC, and he's just helping me out with mine. I've mentioned him to a few other people here now, and I just saw a post about him, like, just like, hey, I got a good referral, and kind of giving that, like, I got a 10 out of 10, and it reminded me, and I talked about it again today.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when somebody refers somebody, there's just a natural curiosity of what happened there, right? So, like, I know, like, you and I refer, like, our doctors and things like that to each other. It's a sensitive subject. But it's kind of like you want to know, like, hey, how was your experience? So never forget, like, it doesn't help for the instant, I need a referral by the end of the next 10 days. But throughout the entire year, when somebody gives you a referral, feel free to email the client or text them or call them and be like, hey, I just met with your friend. Obviously, you can't give away HIPAA information, but calling them up, you don't even have to give them a gift card. You don't have to give them anything. But just saying like, hey, I met with your friend. I want to say so much I appreciate it. You know, we got her taken care of. She's been amazing. Thank you so much for that introduction. Now, if you want to take it a step further, you know, if they give you 5 referrals, give them a $15 gift card. Give them, you know, whatever you want to do to appreciate that. Yeah. But just the call to update them like, hey, this is what happened on that appointment. Thank you for that introduction. That goes a really long way.
Yeah, it'll make them feel good about referring you. And people make them feel good, so they're going to keep referring you.
That's true. Thank you, Patrick.
I saw that. I thought
know.
That's what distracted
you. It is exactly what distracted me. He said, love the brows. I'm assuming he's talking about yours. They're extra bushy today. They do look really nice.
Extra bushy today.
That's the style now. People are actually like putting like growth serum on their eyebrows.
Dudes?
To make them. Well, yeah, dudes. I don't know. I don't follow dude fashion.
I put that growth serum on my mustache. So...
Did you actually?
No.
I could see you doing that. Don't lie.
How dare you?
All
natural.
Another question that we got, we actually get this a ton after the AEP season, but making sure we did answer those. Yes. One of the questions is, how does OEP work if I don't get to all my clients during AEP? It's a hard subject, right? Because there's also rules associated with OEP and what you can do with that. So reminder for everybody, the open enrollment period, you know there are 3 open enrollment periods. There's one for Medicare supplements, which is when they turn 65. There is OEP, this one, which is January 1st through March 31st. And then there's called OEP New, which is a new election period that came in like 2020 that allows, anyways, we don't have to go into that. But the OEP that I'm talking about is January 1st through March 31st. It affects people who have a Medicare Advantage plan going into the new year, and they want to make one more change. It doesn't matter if the effective date on that plan is January 1st or they're letting that plan roll over into the new year. Doesn't matter. As long as January 1st they have a Medicare Advantage plan, they can use the open enrollment period to make a one-time change, and it's effective the following month. So if somebody goes into OEP and they have a Medicare supplement with a PDP, this doesn't affect them whatsoever.
Yeah, they can't do their PDP, so don't even think about it.
No, it's not an option. So a lot of people right now are coming in and saying like, I didn't get to meet with everybody and I'm not going to. I maybe didn't get phone calls returned, maybe some last minute people, maybe I have too many clients, maybe the PDP took up so much of my time this AEP. The big thing is when it comes to OEP is you're not allowed to market during OEP, or you're not allowed to market OEP during OEP. What that means is that you can't put up a big banner that says, hey, there's still time to change. Come talk to me about your Medicare Advantage plans. Can't do that. You can continue to do your normal marketing, so you can continue to host your meetings, continue to do your kiosks, continue all that stuff. You just can't get new clients on the basis of like, come talk to me, there's still time.
Yeah.
You can, however, educate about the open enrollment period, and you can talk to your current clients about the open enrollment period. So making sure that they know that if they have at least one product with you, you can go ahead and let them know, hey, OEP is January 1st through March 31st. If you're unhappy with your plan or we want to switch, make another suggestion, make another switch during that time, we have the ability to do so. So when it comes to marketing current clients versus prospecting or new clients, is the rules can be incredibly different between the two. Current clients, you can talk about OEP as much as you want with them.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you will.
That's my whole job.
So,
I quit every aspect of my job except for correcting Clayton.
yeah, no, I'm a full-time job
Yes.
guy. So when you're talking about educating clients about OEP, that's a one-on-one basis, not a email my client basis.
No, not necessarily. If you want to use social media to say, hey, I'm getting a lot of questions right now from my clients about OEP. So this is what OEP is. The call to action isn't come see me for an appointment.
Okay.
Come talk to me about that. The call to action where it comes important. It's, you can educate about, like, this is what OEP is in, like, a social media post. But I wouldn't, as long as you're giving yourself time to explain it. Now, if you're doing a social media post that's, it's OEP, come talk to me about your options, you can't do that. A video explaining that OEP is a thing, talk to your agent if you have any questions about that. That's education. That's fine.
Yeah, I feel like that's about as far as you could possibly go.
That would be towing a line, but you could get away with that for sure.
The other thing that I would suggest too is talk about other ancillary products. So you've got a hospital indemnity plan in your back pocket. Advertise that and say, hey, let's come talk to me about this hospital indemnity plan, because when you're in that appointment, that's an easier time to have that conversation and kind of go through those things.
Speaking of, Mary asked, what cancer plan do you recommend for someone who is on a Medicare Advantage plan? You are talking to the leader of our CARE initiative, which stands for Cancer Insurance Awareness, Resources, and Education. My good friend Clayton here runs that program. So Clayton.
Yeah, so the good news is it's the same one I'd recommend to anyone on a Medicare supplement. It's not going to vary on coverage-wise. However, there's a handful that I love. Bankers and Aetna are always at like the top of my list.
Not because they're great products, but the commissions on those are noise.
Commissions are noise.
Noise.
The product is noise. And they have the ability to have that reoccurrence where if they were to get cancer once, their plan's not just over. If they can keep paying their premiums, they can receive an additional payout if they were to get a new form of cancer later.
Sure.
Or if it came back, whatever it is. But Bankers, Aetna are two of my favorites. However, I would be remiss if I didn't mention GTL, Cigna, Medico. There's a handful of them out there, especially that work with like a hospital indemnity product and a cancer plan all in one. Something to look at, though, is Medico is kind of interesting where they have a special niche. So GTL, hospital indemnity, you can get them on a cancer plan also. Love that rider option. Medico has that large GI window, and they can get on GI through the cancer plan also.
So that GI window works for both the hospital indemnity and the cancer.
Yes.
Where GTL only is for the hospital indemnity.
Right. They'd have to have a few questions for underwriting for the cancer product with GTL.
Got it.
Medico, it's also that. So basically just wipes out that look back period. Won't give them an instant payout like, I have cancer right now. I want to get on this plan and get the payout. Doesn't work that way. But it would eliminate that look back where that's a thing a lot of people worry about. So like I'm just now able to get on like a non-group plan, cancer plan, because it's been 5 years. So I'm actually switching over to Bankers.
Nice.
From our group plan. And I did that because it's a lot easier to lump in my family. I can do the specific riders I want. And Bankers and Aetna both have some good rider options like those. So definitely check out those
and
two.
then it's something, again, those policies go down to age 18. So it is a great entry product, especially for my listeners out there from California. You can't sell those products over the age 65. They're great entry products to get your foot in the door when it does come to those bigger items, like their Medicare products.
And the last thing I'll say on that is please go check out the Care Initiative page. On the SMS team homepage, you'll scroll down a little bit. I stole the section that used to be where the quote engine is.
People noticed.
They did, and it worked because then they checked out my resources over there. So check that out. Each page has like a breakdown of different carriers and some key talking points. There's usually a video about them, how they file claims. Love it.
We got time for one more question, and it's from Ken. He says, for in-person presentation and enrollments, what technology do you find works best? iPads, tablets, laptops, or other? Thank you. Honestly, Ken, I think it's 100% based on preference. I think, I'm a big fan of using Medicare Center, Medicare app, those Integrity brand products. They do have a mobile app that works. I think a lot of people actually like the desktop version of those better, though. So a lot of people are really enjoying using the laptop version. I think it kind of depends. If you use anything with, they have the laptops now that have touchscreen capability. And so, you can, actually draw your signatures and things like that. Honestly, it just comes down to, whatever you're most comfortable with. I like an iPad because I actually use a pencil, an Apple Pencil, and I can take notes. I don't like typing while I'm listening to somebody. I don't like typing and take notes. I feel like it's impersonal, the actual clacking of it. Having a screen in between you and a client creates an actual barrier and a little bit of distrust because they're not seeing the activities that you're doing. So regardless of the technology that you use, I don't think the which technology is nearly as important as it is how you use it. So if you are going to be somebody you're a keyboard person, you do like to take notes at a keyboard, make sure that they can see your screen. I'm a huge fan of e-apps over everything. So making sure that you're talking through the e-application and you're not just allowing silence where you're staring at a screen and your client's staring at you.
Yeah.
Less important about which technology, just that A, that you're using technology, and B, how you're using that technology.
I was going to say preference and your setup. What's your office setup like? If it'd be impossible for you to turn your computer without ripping the cords out, an iPad might be great.
Or get two screens, but the screens are mirrored.
That's another thing a lot of people do is they'll have a TV because you can mirror what's on your screen to a TV. Have it beside you on the wall over there.
Or even maybe there is some stuff that you don't want them to see. Have that on your screen, but still have them, the screen that you're working on, have that be on the TV. So where you're seeing what you're doing.
Yeah, because in the settings, you can split it where it's either mirrored or you can say, okay, I want to slide this over here where they can see it. So that's a big one. I like the multiple screen aspect because of that. You can do one thing, show them the other.
Yeah. Mary asked the question, client signed his UHC MA plan last night. How do I get to complete the HRA today? I think, Mary, you were working with Sean on this. I know Sean was doing a lot of research. Mr. Schofield was doing a lot of research, or Schofield. I say his last name wrong every time.
I've never said it correctly in my life.
He's doing it, and he's pointed it out to me. He goes, what did you say my last name was? And I said, but I know he's working on that right now. It depends. Again, if you use Medicare Center, I know the rules are different versus if you did it with Lean. If you did it through Medicare Center, I believe it has to be done at the time of, but that's the research that we're doing now. So, Mary, more to come on that. But guys, we try to keep these short and sweet during AEP. That is the time we have for today. It's 10:26. Hopefully you feel like you got your questions answered. We have 10 or 11 more days of AEP. Hit the ground hard. I was telling this to our team earlier last week and earlier this week. A good AEP is what sets you up for the entire next year. You have 2 more weeks, a week and a half, to really make a huge impact on your goals for 2024 and give yourself a really great running start. You can either work hard now and get ahead in 2024, or you can take these next couple weeks, take it off, start your vacation early, and then try to catch up starting January of 2024. That choice is yours. Let us know how we can help you. Let us know how we can help you run through the finish line when it comes to AEP and not let up right at the end of that. That's what our jobs are.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would say that's the biggest bit is just do you want to play catch up all year or do you want to get ahead? You gave that nice speech the other day.
Yeah,
and I
you
was
like made fun of me for it.
I was not making, that was legitimate.
I was like, dang,
No,
I felt really good about that.
No, I was like, all right, let's go. Let's run through this wall right now. And she took it as a joke. No, that was sincere.
I don't take anything you say as sincere. This is new for me.
That's super,
this
that's
is
super
new.
fair. I should have clarified, but like, no, I really meant that.
Fair enough. We got this, guys. You guys are out there doing the Lord's work. You all out there helping make sure that seniors are getting care, that beneficiaries are able to get healthy and to see their doctors. So thank you guys for doing what you're doing. Thank you guys for participating, asking the questions, watching us. We get to do what we love because of your support and what you do. So we can't say thank you enough. Hope everybody had a great holiday weekend. Hope you guys were extra thankful, spent some time with your families, and are ready to let's go, let's get it, let's kick AEP's ass. Who's with me? Woo! All right. Thank you guys so much. Until next Tuesday, have fun.
Make money.
And give impeccable service. Thanks, guys.
See ya.